Alright, I'm going to be recording another one of these exercises. I'm still within the VirtualSpeech program, and I'm looking at their public speaking module. And the last time I just did the impromptu speaking. Now I'm going to look at the dealing with distractions module that's here.
Hi everyone, welcome to VirtualSpeech's short course on dealing with distractions. We'll cover the most common distractions and how to make sure they don't ruin your speech. As always, you'll be able to practice what you've learnt in a virtual environment to prepare you for the real thing.
Okay, so I think you heard that probably, so we'll get a chance to do.
Which of these distractions have you experienced? How did they make you feel?
So I guess it's getting me thinking about these distractions. It doesn't let me select any of them. So, I mean, I've not experienced any hecklers, not too much camera flashing. I've had phones go off. Technical demo has definitely not worked at times for me. Audience members speaking to one another, oftentimes only after I've gotten them thinking, so that's often a good thing. But slides not working or some sort of technical problem, again, that has occurred. So let's just see.
Most people experience some distractions while presenting. The most common ones include flare or bright lighting. This is when you're on stage and can barely see the audience due to the light. It can make you feel very hot and uncomfortable. Mobile phones ringing. You may hear phones ringing or vibrating, which can distract you from the flow of your message. Your heartbeat. When you get nervous, you might be able to feel or even hear your heartbeat. This can be very off-putting and make you feel even more anxious. The most simple way to cope with these is to ignore them. Direct the attention away from the area of the room where the distraction is coming from. You could do this by walking to the other side of the stage so that your audience's gaze follows you away from the distraction, or you could simply turn to the other side of the room and your audience will likely follow.
So, I mean, I'm sure you're able to hear this as well. Obviously, we're in a bigger room here with, I don't know, 80, maybe 100 people. So this, if I was not familiar with having done something like this, it would definitely be an environment that is different. And then it did highlight how all those lights could be up high, there's distractions, you're hearing your heartbeat. So this would be a good opportunity to get you in and get you familiar
Something
with that
you might
feeling.
experience when using a microphone is audio feedback, when your voice is delayed slightly as it comes out of the conference room speakers. Try giving a quick speech now
really
to
good.
experience what this feels like.
Okay. I guess I'm going to click next, actually. So, yep, I do hear myself talking through that speaker. It stopped right now, so I'm not sure what just happened to that. Hello, hello? Okay, that feature didn't quite work out.
The most common and distracting problem while giving a speech is when you can hear talking coming from the audience. Remember, though, that this is not always a bad thing. If someone has walked in late, their peer may be updating them on what they've missed, or they may just be asking if their peer knows where the bathroom is. So don't jump to conclusions if you see a bit of whispering, and just direct the audience away from the source. However, if the talking is prolonged and other audience members are struggling to hear your message because of it, try a different tactic. If the talking carries on for 3 minutes or more, look directly at the culprits while you're talking. The audience will follow your gaze, and before the culprits realize, everyone is looking at them. Most of the time, this is enough to stop them from carrying on their conversation. Let's practice with a couple of examples. Look out for the distractions in the next scene and focus your eyes away from where they're coming from.
Okay, look out for the distractions and focus away from them. So let's do next. So sounds like the phone is coming from my right, so I'm going to be looking more over to this side as opposed to the right side. So I'm not going to be looking over there much. That's one distraction that just went by. Sounds like it's more so on my left side now, so I'm going to engage with my right side of the audience here. Draw them in a little bit. Not sure exactly where that's coming from, so just going to continue looking forward. Again, it's my phone distraction coming out of my right.
One of the worst distractions you can face is dealing with difficult audience members. If you can tell someone disagrees with what you're saying from their body language, let the audience know that there will be time at the end for questions. This is a hint to someone restless that they will have the chance to disagree, but it's not now. If someone is already voicing their negative opinion about something you've said, listen to what they say and respond calmly and logically. If they persist, offer them the opportunity to bring it up later at the end of the speech.
So that's good feedback to be aware of. What would you do differently? Video example. Okay, let's see.
Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children has just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do. Pardon me.
That's right,
Pardon me. My apologies.
What's it going to mean for the region?
My apologies. South Korea's policy choices on North Korea have been severely limited in the last 6 months to a year.
Sometimes people distract themselves and it's beyond your control. If someone is thinking about a sports match that's on at the same time, or if they drop an object while you're talking, they've already broken their engagement with you. You just need to use more energy to bring their attention back to what you're speaking about. The best way to do this is to use the distraction as an advantage. Incorporate it in your speech if possible. For example, you could joke at the start about how you won't keep them from the game for long, or ask the audience what the score is. A note about self-distractions: if you see audience members doodling, they could still be listening to you. Some people find it easier to focus if they're doodling, so don't confront them about it or make it a joke. Ignore it. Most of us associate distractions with audience members. However, the audience could be distracted because of you. Here are a few things to consider about yourself when speaking in public.
These are all good points. I'm just reading through them quickly. So a quick slide that just pivots and says, so about you, these are actionable things you can do that help it up, help keep your audience engaged. And then now it threw me immediately
let's
into
put what you've learned into practice.
Conference room.
Speak for at least 2 minutes about anything you want. Your family, your friends, what you did last weekend. Anything that fills 2 minutes. During this time, you'll encounter a number of distractions. Do your best to look away from them, and don't let them alter your tone, pitch, or pace of voice.
Okay, this is a good one. So I'll just talk about what I'm doing right now, actually, which is doing these gameplay video recordings of this program for faculty at Penn State Behrend to utilize in getting this into their classrooms. So let me just go ahead and get started. Hello, I am here today. I just wanted to pitch you on a series that we're building out within the VAR Studios segment of the VAR Lab here at Penn State Behrend. Within our studio, the XRcast Studio, we specialize in creating mixed reality content, such as what you're seeing right now, where I'm in headset and you're able to experience that without actually having to put on a headset in a mixed reality format here. With this program, we're focused we're focused on a program called VirtualSpeech, or with this series, we're focused on VirtualSpeech, where I'm highlighting this app specifically because it looks promising for professional development programs. It looks promising for getting people familiar with speaking in front of groups, as we're sitting here today, different soft skills training, and immersive technologies are particularly good for this kind of medium because it is in a replicable format. It is something that seems a little bit less daunting because at the end of the day, I'm just here talking to nobody in a room by myself. So I don't have to be worried about what all three of you in front of me are thinking to yourselves right this moment. And it does give you good experience so far with not paying attention to distractions. I've also seen impromptu speaking. There's many different engagements on here and many different exercises that I believe are good for all kind of students, but particularly business students, to get in here and get familiar with speaking in these kind of environments that are unique. And I think that getting the opportunity to do this many times, practice makes perfect. I think students will get more and more comfortable the more that they are able to be in here talking. And that is about 2 minutes for me. So that hopefully that gave you a little bit of an overview. And yeah.
No one will be able to go through life speaking in public and not experience at least a couple of these distractions. In fact, if you only experience a couple of them, you're one of the lucky few. Here's a summary of how to avoid these distractions altogether and how to deal with them. Ask your audience to turn mobiles off. This won't be appropriate in a small, informal conversational setting, but when giving a speech or talk to more than a few people, it's perfectly reasonable. Involve the audience where possible so that they stay engaged and connected. Don't rely on one type of technology. Direct the attention away from the distraction.
So at the end of that exercise, they just had 5 questions to do based off of that lesson. So those are pretty good questions. I would say that they hammered home the
Remember,
points.
distractions are not a reflection on what you're saying. If someone is being difficult and paying you no attention, bear in mind that it's not about you. They don't want to be there and would be disruptive to anyone who was presenting to them at that moment. If you stay focused on delivering your message clearly and engaging the audience as much as possible, then you'll be well on your way to being an excellent orator.
Well, there you go. So that was a second exercise that I was able to complete in here. I think in the future I'll actually I'll keep track of a stopwatch, just so I know exactly how long that took. But yeah, that's another program within this public speaking module. Let me stop recording and I'll start another one.